Hey guys, it's Cody with Taking 20 and welcome back to my Roll20 Master Series. Okay, so far in this series we have really covered a lot of different topics, but one thing that we haven't really talked about much at all is building maps. Now I've seen a lot of people on the different forums and websites talking about how they're kind of struggling with maps, on how to line them up, where to find them, how to build them, all that stuff. So I figured this was a great opportunity for me to share some of the tips and tricks I've picked up that I wish I knew when I first started playing on Roll20. So I hope you guys are ready. Let's get started. Okay guys, so the first tip I have for you is a really basic and simple tip, and that is to build a flip map. You can create a flip map in Roll20 quickly and easily. Let me show you how. And as you see, I've got my little flip map here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new page, and then we're going to go over to this new untitled page. And it's kind of bright, so what we want to do is go here to the page settings. Scroll down till you get to this background and change this to a color that's a little bit easier on the eyes here. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, much better. Okay, and you may want to change the color of the lines, maybe a little darker. I don't know. It's up to your taste. I think that looks pretty good. So go in, rename it to flip map, and as you can see, this is my flip map. It's pretty much identical, and that is a quick way to. One little tip I have for you guys to just build a flip map in your game, so when you need to come up on the fly with a dungeon, you can do so pretty easily. Okay guys, so tip number 2 is a pretty cool and quick little way to create some variants using tile sets. A lot of you guys may be using tile sets that you've either bought from the marketplace, or maybe you've even found some through Google image search or anything like that, and they are a great tool to have. And as you can see here, I've uploaded a few different types of tile sets. But if you're using the same tile set over and over and over, it can get a little monotonous for your players. So what I want you to do is, and here's another great one. Let me kind of enlarge this here. Is instead of using the same tile set over and over and over and over for your players, put a copy out on the field, click on it, go into its settings, and you can actually go down here, because it is still a token, and tint this thing. So a great opportunity to reuse the same tile sets and give it a little bit of a different color and feel for your players is to simply go in and recolor the tiles. They snap into grid, and that looks completely different than the original tile set that we had. You can do the same thing over here. And you can even do something a little bit more fun. Maybe you want to have a golden paved hallway or something like that. So you can go in here, just simply recolor your tiles, and it's a great way to get a lot more mileage out of the tile sets you already have without boring your players. Okay, so for tip number 3, from time to time when you're running games, you might have players that get the bright idea that it's a good idea to split the party. And if they decide to split in such a way that maybe you have one map set up for one level of a dungeon and a second map for the second level, that can be really hard to balance as a dungeon master in trying to move players back and forth. But Roll20 has actually built in a way that you guys can literally split the party and actually put them on 2 different pages. Let me show you what I mean. If you go up here to the page toolbar, you can see this player flag. Now that's what page all the players are on. But you don't want to have to move this completely over to a different page just because maybe one player is on a different map. Here's how you fix that. If you go down here to the player's name and you grab it, you can actually grab this and drag it up here to a second page. Now you'll notice up here that the player's image, whatever their default token is, has actually been moved over to this page, but the rest of the players will still remain along with the bookmark. So you have, in essence, completely split the party on 2 separate pages. Now, when the players decide to rejoin each other, all you have to do is grab this token, slide it back over, the bookmark will highlight, and release. And as you can see, everybody is back over here under the bookmark. And that is how you split the party. Okay, so tip number 4. I have seen a lot of people struggling with aligning their maps. And it's one thing that kind of bothers me when I get into a game and I see grids kind of all over the place and my character token isn't really snapping to the right area, and it's hard to use the measuring tool that way because Dungeon Masters just kind of struggle with lining up their maps correctly. Let me show you guys how to do this the right way. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to create a new page. And on this new page, I'm going to go into the settings. I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger here. Let's make it like 50 by 50. This should be a nice, big, wide page. Perfect. Now I'm going to go back in here and, no, excuse me. Now it's time to, now it's time to actually load in our map. So I'm going to go over here to my art library. I'm going to pull up a map, one that you guys may be familiar with. I'm going to drag the Cragmaw hideout right onto the page. Now, let's start making this thing a little bigger. Okay, now we can't really tell where all the lines are yet, so let's do this. Let's move this to the map layer. And as you can see, I've got a long way to go before this looks kind of right. So let's zoom out a little bit. And here's a little trick. Go in here to the page settings again. Go down here to this second section, and you can actually change what color these lines are. So I'm going to make them nice and bright and white, and I'm going to crank the opacity up so I can see kind of where these are on the map. Got it. Let's slide over here to the map layer, and we're going to kind of just put this in the corner, and we're just going to stretch this out a little bit till it gets close. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to stretch this out. Okay. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to change this. We're going to right click it, and we're going to go to advanced, and we're going to make this a drawing now. Perfect. Now, here's the trick. Once you've made it a drawing, I want you to try to get these sized up the right way. We're going to slide this a little bit left, and as you can see, if I stop right there, let me zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So as you can see, this line looks pretty good, but this line happens way before this one does, so that means that my square is too big. So I actually need to crank this down a little bit. Let's slide this down. Okay. Now just to show you where my eye is, because I'm going to do this next one without stopping again, I'm lining each one of these lines up and then comparing if the map lines are bigger or if my grid lines are bigger. So still have some area to go. Let's keep sliding, keep sliding. Wow, that looks pretty good. Okay, let's check the other side of the map. Looks pretty good. Let's crank it down over just a touch. And we have now lined up the width, the horizontal lines, or I guess technically the vertical lines. And all we're going to do is go back to the bottom and do the exact same thing. So let's get this thing lined up. Here's the trick. Line up one line. Okay, so I'm looking right here on my visual, and as I can see, this black line box is taller, is wider, so I need to crank the map down a little bit. And boom, right about there. Let's check the top of the map to make sure everything is still lined up. It looks really, really good. Now, for the finishing touch, let's go back to our page toolbar, go over to the page settings, and crank this opacity down all the way so that it is invisible. And now, as you can see here, when I bring a player token onto the map, oops, I think I put that in the map layer here. Give me just a heartbeat to move this to the back. Let's click on this token because I forgot to change layers, and let's put that back in the token layer. Let's go back over here to our objects and tokens. And now, as I move this character around the map, it is perfectly lined up and it snaps into grid exactly the way you want, perfectly. And that's how you align your maps. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys one more tip in this video. I'm going to show you guys a really cool tool called Donjon. If you're not familiar with it, it's a fantastic website that has all kinds of generators for you to use for your 5e and I think maybe even 4e honestly, I'm not sure. I didn't play 4E terribly much, but this is great to use even if you're playing Pathfinder or 13th Age or anything like that to generate maps. Let me show you what it can do. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is a random generator for dungeons. Now don't worry, I will put the link in the description below so that you guys can go right to this page. Now, you can come up here and rename it, and there's all sorts of things that you can add to this dungeon. You can change the levels, you can change the motif, all kinds of things. So it will start off with a black and white, which is the map standard style. But if you go down here to some of these other ones and kind of play around with it a little bit, you'll notice that it gives you these really cool textures built right into your maps. So what you can do is you can actually take this map, construct it. At that point, it will export to a JPEG, and I'll show you those steps here in just a moment because we're going to use this a little differently from this texture. So let's go back over here to the standard. And I'm going to make this map size a little smaller here. I'm going to go over here to diminutive. And let's just go ahead and construct it. Let's see what it does. Okay, perfect. So it's built us this nice, pretty map to use. Down here you can download it. And if you're playing whatever system, you can see that it'll actually create some other cool, fun stuff to play with. Just a little pro tip if you want to just throw together an encounter for your group, or maybe even if you're running a one-shot, just use this for some fun hack and slash. So what we're going to do is we want to download not this map exactly, because as you can see it has some like secret door markings right here, but instead what we're going to do is we are going to go to the player's map, and we're going to download this player's map. And this is called the Secret Halls of Theodusi. So let's click this player's map. And as you can see, it has downloaded. Okay, but we're not done yet. What I want to do with this is I'm going to show you guys a way to use this not just as a black and white map, but actually to add your own textures in behind it to give it a little bit of a more unique feel for maybe whatever dungeon you're running if you weren't able to find any of those particular styles that you liked with the different options at Donjon. So we're going to go over here and I'm going to open this up in a tool called paint.net. Now, I don't want this to be a paint.net tutorial, but I will show you guys just some basics on how to use it. In essence, it's a completely free program, and you can exchange it for, Adobe or GIMP or anything that you personally use to edit your photos and stuff. I like paint.net, and I'll show you how easy it is to use for kind of how we're intending to use it. Okay, so I have opened paint.net, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this image over here from my folder off screen and drop it on here. I'm going to add a layer, and that looks perfect. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go over here to this background, click on it, and then delete that layer so it's gone. So all we have is just this one image. There's no layers above it or below it. Now, the next thing we're going to do is, as you can see, it's kind of selected here. We're just going to hit the, we're going to hit the escape button. We're going to go over here to our magic wand, and we're going to click on this white section here. And then all you have to do is hit delete. And then we're just going to go through the map, deleting out all of these white sections. And basically what that's going to do is that's going to make this transparent. Now, I am also going to zoom right here on the stairs just a little bit. And you don't have to do this, but I personally like it that way. And I'm just going to delete these extra little these extra little white spaces out to make the map completely transparent. Okay, done. Let's zoom back out, and this looks really good. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over here to File, and we're going to save this as, and we're going to just put this right here. As you can see, I have a few of these that I've done so far. And we're going to put this as the Secret Halls of Theodusi, the player version. And I'm going to save this as a PNG. So as you can see, I've saved this as a PNG, and I'm going to hit save. At this point, it's going to tell you all this stuff here. If you have multiple layers, it's going to say, do you want to compress them? If it does, just hit OK, and then go ahead and hit OK there. Perfect. Now it's saving. Okay, now that we've created it, let's go find it and make a map. So go over here to your page toolbar and make a new page. Go into that page's settings, and let's crank this back up to 50 by 50. Done. Now let's slide over here, and then let's take this and slide it onto the map. Okay, perfect. Now you can't really see because, again, we got to line this thing up. So let's crank this opacity up. Opacity. Why do I keep saying that? So that we can see things a little better. And I'm not going to show you guys how to align this since I just went over that, but I'm going to go ahead and line this up one more time real quick, and we'll come right back. Okay, now that we have it all lined up, let me show you how to add some fun textures behind this thing. So all we have to do is go over here to our map and background layer, and what I want you to do is go find on Google Image or anything like that, go find some fun textures. I've grabbed this gravel stone through Google Image Search, and let me show you what this does. So we're going to take this and we're going to make this a, is drawing, and we're going to go crank this bad boy down. Just like that. We're going to go back over to the objects and token layer. We're going to take this and we're going to change this to the map layer. Go back to the map layer. If it disappeared, not a problem. Click on it and go to the back. And then boom, just like that, you've created a different type of texture for your players. Now, one last trick to do with this is instead of a texture, let's do something a little different. Let's go over here and move this to the back so I can delete this out. Okay. And just to make things easier, I'm going to put this back on the token layer for just a moment. Now, I'm still in the maps and background layer. Now, if you've found any cool dungeon tile sets, like this one here, really caught my eye. Really awesome tile set I just found online. You can take it and you can just copy, paste. And it doesn't matter if you go over, it's really not a problem. And go ahead and click on one of these and maybe move them around a little bit so they don't look quite so uniform for your players, so that your players, again, don't get terribly bored of it. But once you've kind of mixed them up a little bit, just take the whole row and paste it there. Again, these will all snap right into grid. And if you don't want to go over just because it's going to bother you, you can always stack them on top like that. Now we can take this whole section, copy, and basically, I think at this point you guys are getting the idea. So let me fast forward in the video so you guys don't have to watch me kind of do this the whole way down. Okay, now that we're done, all we have to do is go back over to the object and token layer, click on this dark portion that we have created, and move that to the map layer. Okay, now that we've moved it to the map layer, just highlight over a couple of these pieces, move these to the back till you can grab a good section there, and move that to the front, and voila. Just like that, you have created your very own textured, randomly generated map using a few different tools. We used Donjon to create the actual map. We used Paint.net to remove the white and basically make it transparent. And we used both textures and we used tile sets to give it two completely different looks to keep your players, more engaged because there's more kind of things aren't monotonous and kind of stale. Okay, now the final tip I have for you is a very simple one, and that is please, just like with the handouts we did earlier in this series, go ahead and archive this map if you're not going to use it. So by that, you have a ton of little bitty tiles here, and if you're not using it at the moment, it's just best to archive it. We're going to go over here to the page settings. We're going to go down here and we're going to archive this page. When we need to access it, not a problem at all. We can go right in here, find whatever maps we have set up, and just restore the map. And just like that, the map is functional again. Or if you want to look at the one that we just created, just hit restore. We can go right back over here and you can see this map has been set up. Okay, so that's it for this video. Now, I do have at least one more cool map tip and trick that I want to share with you guys, and that is how to create your very own dungeon tile sets completely for free that look and function just like those really cool ones you see on the marketplace. So stay tuned for that video. It will be the next video in the series, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that as well. If this is your first time here and you love role-playing games as much as I do, I'd love to have you subscribe. I'll be putting out new videos every week on DM tips, player tips, more Roll20 tutorials, and all kinds of things. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, hit that subscribe button down below and come join us. Also, if you want to reach out to me or have any questions, you can leave your questions in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer as many as I can, or you can always hit me up on Twitter at TakingD20. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Cody, and may your games be filled with awesome memories and even better friends. I'll catch you guys next time. 1, 2, 3. You gotta say it.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe.
Okay, buddy. All right, kiddo. I love you.